What's the overriding feeling right now, especially walking out with the cup?
There's two different, like walking out for cup. I mean, it's cool and all, but it's March. It's last year's news, and if I think I'm number one at the moment, I'm going to quickly fall and quick. Everything's resetted. As you saw, there was a really hot game between us and Carlton, and Carlton didn't play finals last year, so we didn't play finals in 2020. So it's a really even competition, and I'm excited. 7 days away from potentially 80,000-90,000 at the G. I just got reliably told there's fireworks at halftime, which is really exciting. I won't see them, I don't think, but I hear there's fireworks. So if you want to come down to the G, it's going to be good fun.
What's the squad feel like after this pre-season?
I mean, it's
healthier or less so?
Different to anything I've ever done. Coming back off, ticking off a career goal, and also coming off a shortened break. It is extremely different to what we've normally done, but we've been able to adapt, and everyone's fit. Harry Petty probably the only one that may miss. I think Trent Rivers hurt himself just recently, but did the whole pre-season, which means he won't miss too much when he comes back. But Petty's probably the only concern we have. So to have the grand final team minus Petty potentially lining up round one, I think that's a tick.
Is there any teams you're benchmarking against previous back-to-back teams?
I mean, there's so many teams that have gone back-to-back in the modern era. We've been blessed with some really successful sides, but there's so many teams that have been one-off as well. So we'd love to be up the pointy end for as long as possible, and if that's the teams that we've all talked about in the past, like Brisbane, Geelong, Richmond, like it's crazy, but we'd also just love to not go down to the Melbourne of 1970s. We just love to be relevant for as long as we can. I'd love to be sitting in the stand when I'm 60 and Melbourne is still a top 8 side with a strong membership base, and no one's talking merger with Hawthorn. It's just a good club to be at.
This time last year, no one tipped Melbourne to make the grand final. What does it feel like? Can you describe what it goes from being the Hunters to the Hunted this year, that sort of on top of that survey this year?
I mean, dealing with expectations is going to be this new thing that we've got this year. If we don't win this year, it's almost seen as a fail. I dare say it probably is, because we were the current champions. So we've got expectation to win every game. We've got expectation to perform. We've got expectation to get to the point end of the season. So dealing with that's going to be the funnest part. I can't wait. I've never had to deal with it. We've been a side that gets the 110 Sunday slot, and now all of a sudden we got the season opener, which is really exciting.
I think when you won the flag, one of the first things you said that if you're going to do it again, go back to back, you're going to get better. Have you sort of identified some areas that you do that, and sort of how Melbourne gets better so it doesn't get sort of left behind with the rest of the Melbourne?
Oh yeah, 100%. You need to improve. If we're the Melbourne of 2021, I dare say we might not even play finals. That's how much teams improve every single year, and we're doing that as well. One of the biggest things is what we saw was our strength was our midfield in that second half in the granny. We'd love to do that for the whole game. We'd love to not let Western Bulldogs dominate that second quarter. We'd love to be able to control that. The round 23 game when Geelong kicked 5 centre-bounce goals in a row, we'd love to be able to stop that. So to get some consistency within our performance in that midfield group, there's some genuinely talented players in there. So that's been one of our targets, especially from a midfield point of view.
How does the MCG in Melbourne sort of shape the campaign emotionally this year? Melbourne, people missed out.
Now we're going to be seeing you.
If you ask me what my favourite game of the year was outside of finals, I'll go straight to round 6. Anzac Eve, Jonesy's 300 in front of, I think it was 70,000. That was pretty special, and not knowing what was coming. Games with no crowds again back at the G, which was a pretty dull feeling. To have that moment again is just really excites me, and to have Melbourne supporters rock up 80,000, 90,000 against what I think is a really natural modern rivalry in Western Bulldogs. It's going to be fun.
Max, can I ask you a question for the Tasmanian Barrackers?
Yep.
There's a meeting today with the president's talking about the Tassie bid. What's the feeling among players about how urgent that needs to happen to get a team up in Tassie?
I don't think urgency really pops into our head as much as it would at AFL land and at Tassie land. But certainly I'd love to see Tassie have a team. I think it'd be great for footy. I think it'd be great for the country. It doesn't really make sense that they don't at this stage. And if I was a lot younger and naive and wasn't part of my most favourite club, I'd also love to be living in Tassie as well.
You mentioned the fireworks. There might be fireworks that you do see on the field, given the rivalry which has emerged. What are you expecting from the Dogs? Because they're going to come at you pretty hard.
I'm, as much as media reports, I don't necessarily think it's a rivalry like that. I think it's a rivalry in terms of both teams are hungry to win. That has chances if both teams stay in the points game for a long time to be something like Geelong Hawthorn, which would be really exciting. I don't think there's necessarily going to be massive fireworks, but it's going to be two hot teams. Like Libba and Jack Viney, that's a ticket alone, watching them two play AFL footy. So, and then having Norden and Stephen May, and then down the other end having Alex Keefe and Ben Brown. There's so many battles within, which are really exciting to watch.
Max, the AFL announced this morning that there's $22 tickets for the first game.
There you go.
I know you may not be across it, but just a line or two if you can on what that means, and sort of be able to open the door for as many people as it can to get to that first game that you get 90,000 if possible.
I mean, I'm looking bigger picture as I've got a bit of a hospitality background, but if we get as many people as we can into the city, bang, Hospo's back, the industry's back, Melbourne's back. So I know the AFL is pretty confident that they're going to get a record of some sort in round one. There's a Wednesday night showcase, a Thursday night, Friday night and Saturday night, and they're all really, really strong, good games. I'm an outside chance if I pull up fine Wednesday night to rock up either Thursday or Friday because they're both hot games as well. And obviously go to my local wine bars and restaurants and whatnot and put money behind the bar.
When does you want to?
April. Thank you. Thank you.